Hey guys, Scotty Z. Bringing you something very controversial today. Something that I've been going around in my head about. I've been reading, watching, like the amount of hours that I've invested into watching videos and reading articles in the last week and a half since this whole thing in Ukraine and Russia started. Obviously, it's on my doorstep. It's literally there in the country that I live in. So I've obviously invested a lot of time in this. And here's the thing that keeps coming up for me. My original video that I shared about this last week that's sort of gone semi-viral, I'll put the link in the comments. I think it's been shared like nearly 600 times or something, thousands and thousands of views, I was looking at the situation that happened in 2014 with the coup d'etat backed by America, that forced the government change, the regime that is currently in power in Ukraine. So, and looking at that very cut and dry, that has happened. We know that happened. What's happened with NATO, the continued expansion of NATO, since they said with the breakup of the USSR and the Berlin Wall coming down, we won't move NATO any closer to the east towards Russia. That was an agreement, and that's just been completely broken. And NATO, which was originally set up to fight to prepare for the threat of Russia in the Cold War, which was the USSR at the time, sorry, the USSR collapsed, but NATO never collapsed, and NATO's continued to expand. Why? And Putin, who's been in power for 20 years, is saying, why do you keep expanding? Why do you keep coming close to our borders? You've said that we're a threat. Like it's like a bully getting closer to your house with a bigger club and gathering their mates around and going, no, we're just making sure that the place is safe. And you're like, well, can you get off my doorstep, please? Like that's literally what's been happening to Russia. And Putin has been very open speaking about that and saying, you got to stop threatening us. You got to stop coming any closer. So the last video was very much like just looking at what's actually happening on a geopolitical level. There's no conspiracy theory there. There's nothing. It's just like facts. Like that's the dry facts. America has been putting weapons, and look at what's happening in Ukraine now, the amount of weapons that are being sent there, the amount of money that's being sent there to fight against Russia. But America has put, and the deep state really, it's not the American people, although unwilling puppets in some cases, but the amount of weapons that are being put along the border here with Russia is just incredible, and all those facts out there. But this is what I want to bring you today. There's this thing going on around the globalists, the deep state, okay? And some of you guys know about this. I've done a lot of research on this too. But here's the question that I'm trying to pose myself. On the surface level, it looks to me, with all of the companies that have pulled out, all of the sanctions that are on Russia, the squeeze of Russia, against what Putin's saying, and then I've probably watched about 12 hours. I think I looked at the videos yesterday. 12 hours of Vladimir Putin speaking for himself, and I'll put links to those in the comments as well. You can go and have a listen to this man. Now, my wife says you can't trust the KGB, the KGB, right? You can't trust them. They're taught to lie, and that may be true. But at the same time, I listen to what Putin is saying, and everything that he seems to be saying, that he is saying, seems to be on the level. Like from what he's saying about what's going on with America having destabilized the Middle East, it's like how much destabilization this has caused, this massive refugee crisis in Europe, and it's on the border of Russia. And Russia's saying, what are you doing? America, you're all the way over there. Why are you doing that? And Russia's in there now working with I keep getting the two mixed up. It's the Libyan or the Syrian government. One of them, I think Libya's already been overthrown, yeah, and Syria, they're in there supporting the legitimate government. But America has been backing, pretty much building up ISIS, from what I can see. But anyway, I'm off track there. Listening to Putin, I'm actually agreeing with this guy. Like, I'm agreeing with what he's saying, and then understanding that there is a globalist agenda, a deep state agenda. On the surface level, it looks like to me, and this is where it gets a bit that conspiracy theory stuff, that Putin is standing up to the globalists. And I'm in some crazy Telegram chats that are telling me exactly that this globalist movement, this satanic movement that has orchestrated COVID, and it seems to be that Putin and Russia are the only country at the moment in a political level that is actually standing up to the deep state who are trying to enslave us. That's the question that I pose to you. What do you think about that? Because from what I'm seeing in my research and listening to Putin's words himself, it sounds like that's exactly what's happening. But that's where you get into the edge of conspiracy theory, right? Which a lot of it's not a theory anymore. But what I'm trying to do here is keep this like neutral so that you can sort of make some decisions for yourself as well. But here's the question that I don't understand. Is it just a facade, a charade that's happening for us we don't really know what truth is. And then at the dinner table at night, Putin, Biden, Klaus Schwab, and all the other, crazy people out there are cheersing each other saying, oh, they're buying it. We've created this, fake war. We call it a controlled opposition. So is Putin a controlled opposition to the West? But actually at the end of the day, they're all working for the same agenda, the Great Reset. And if that's the case, like that's pretty scary because we're all, in a lot of trouble. Or did Putin go into the World Economic Forum as a young leader, like they're trying to recruit people, realize that there's like control by Satanists, and Putin is like, whoa, no, I don't want to have anything to do with that. Putin become a great follower of Christianity, and whatever your take is on Christianity, but it's the values, the cultural values that are very strong here in Russia. He upholds that. He stands for that. So did he go into the World Economic Forum and then say, whoa, you guys are crazy, I don't want to have anything to do with it, I'm out, right? And then actually start to stand up against them, not really wanting to be against them, but they keep pushing. That's sort of what I'm feeling. Or are they all dining at the same table at the end of the day, cheersing and saying they're buying it? That's what I don't know. From what I can see, Putin is taking a stand against the globalists. Let me know your thoughts about that. Put some links in the description. I know sometimes these links get blocked. At this stage, I'm willing to take the chance of losing my account because I think that this is the greatest thing that's ever happened in the world. And for us right now, I know that the flooding in Australia is absolutely mental and crazy, and there's potentially weather manipulation that's causing that, or it's the pole shift. I don't know, I got sent a video about that the other day. You guys are suffering over there, I know. But right now, we're on the verge here in Australia, in Russia, my other home, of potentially a global war. We don't know what's going to happen, but my eyes are very much focused on what's going on and what's the deeper understanding of what's going on. So I pose it to you. Is Putin standing against the globalists? Yes or no? Do you have any links? Or is Putin standing against the globalists only as a facade, but they're all part of the same team at the end of the day, trying to usher in the Great Reset? I leave it to you to decide. Again, I'm here to ask lots of questions and I'm trying to figure it out for myself. I think at this time, we potentially don't know what truth is, but I shared the video the other day of the cup. If we can get different perspectives of that same object and look through different eyes, that's why I'm listening to different people. I'm asking different questions and I'm trying to get a fuller perspective rather than having, no, this is it. This is the way that it is. Christianity's the way. No. Islam's way. No. You have to be Hindu to get to God. Like, whatever, guys, get over it. You're all talking about the same thing. And if you have a look, and this is what I've done, especially in my 20s, I went and lived with as many indigenous populations as I could around the world, and I studied every major religion on the planet, read their books, went to their church, synagogue, mosque, temples, and I tried to understand, what is this thing you guys keep talking about? What is God? What is the universe? What is love? You're all sort of saying the same thing, just from a different perspective. And I think it's the same now. If we can look at lots of different perspectives through different people's eyes, we can maybe try and figure out what is actually going on as best as possible, okay? Rather than getting a fixed idea, nope, this is the only way, it has to be this. Let's open our minds and start to look at it and try and figure it out from a fuller perspective. So I ask for your support in doing that. Get in the comments, let us know what you think, add links, comments, what you believe. And then I know that I read all of them, and I don't know about you guys, you probably do too. A lot of people read these comments. So share your perspective and let's grow together, okay? Have fun, love you heaps. Bit conspiratorial, this one, bit like globalist agenda, Great Reset stuff. So I'm interested to see as the comments light up about that as well. But again, share this to get this conversation happening in more spheres as well. Love you heaps, have fun. I'll see you soon. Cheers.